Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are standing out here by our little Coyote CS2520S because I am doing some filter changes and I've had a problem. Our trusty old strap wrenches that I have used for years on oil filters for vehicles and numerous other things have failed me on this Coyote. The filters are just really hard to get to. There's some cross members and stuff that are in the way, and you can't get that traditional strap wrench in there to that. So I ordered up a couple different styles of filter wrenches, and we're going to jump in here and see which one of these actually works the best to try to get this filter off of here. So this is the traditional one that I've used for ages on different things, and it has worked phenomenally well, but it is not working now. So I ordered a slip joint filter wrench, and basically this works like a pair of channel locks pretty much, where you can adjust the size of the opening by slipping this joint right here, and then as you squeeze down on it and you put torque on it, then it's going to get tighter and tighter on that filter as you put more pressure on it. I also got this DURATECH large size adjustable magnetic 3-jaw oil filter wrench. That's a lot to say there. So what this basically does, it's got 3 jaws right here, and as you turn the center and you go to loosen or tighten, it will loosen or tighten up on your filter. So this thing, as you can see, it expands and contracts as you turn it. But the thing is, not only does it expand to the large size, but as you continue to turn, it actually goes back down to the small size. And as you put your ratchet in on this side, it turns the middle gear, and that middle gear then will adjust the size of it. And it basically clamps down onto your filter. And there's also a magnet right here in the middle that'll kind of help hold it onto your magnet or onto your filter while you try to get it positioned. So you can see the way that this filter is positioned right here. This cross member is completely under it, and you can't get anything around it and have a square torque on it. So I'm either going to have to get it, either take this cross member off or get something that will put the torque on it from the front of the filter. And so I figured I'd try a couple of different things here. And the first thing we'll try are these slip joint pliers, which I don't know if they will actually get in there or not. They do have a little bit of a curve to them. They seem like I can kind of get to it and grip it. Boy, that filter's really stuck on there. Well, I think this one will work. So before I take that off, I think that that filter wrench actually will work on this because I can see it moving and I'm not slipping on it, and it seems that I'm getting a pretty good amount of leverage on there. But before I loosen it up, I want to try this DURATECH wrench out just to see how it does in comparison. So this one might be a little bit tougher to get positioned, but it does have the magnet on there. And it looks like right at the top, you have to make sure that these arms are not in or interfering with parts of your tractor. So you have to make sure all those are in the clearing. So this thing works lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So I'm gonna kind of go ahead and turn it with my hand to the left to kind of get it in position. I've got my ratchet set to loosening. Oh, wow. Wow. That thing grips on there good. It's not loose just yet. I'm going to turn that wrench a little bit. Again, I wanted to make sure that those legs on it don't hit the case on my tractor and get stuck. Yeah. All right, so before I take that completely loose, I've got to get my drain pan underneath it. That worked great. Now, I am changing the hydraulic fluid in this, and that's why that I'm not putting the other filter back on right now. So be prepared though, if you're doing your first service on the Coyote CS2520, if you don't plan on changing your hydraulic fluid, you got to be pretty fast about pulling that filter off and putting the new one back on. Okay, so the other filter that I need to get to is all the way over here, and you see there's another cross member, and then you've got engine parts and stuff like up in here, and again, it's blocking that filter, which is good in one way. It protects it from the elements and, you know, getting stuff punctured into it, but it is really tough to get any kind of wrench on that. So, same thing, I'm going to try to see if we can get our slip joint on here first, just to try them out. I don't think I can get those in there to that. Well, maybe. I don't want to squeeze it there in the middle of it. Let's see if I can get it onto the filter first. That might be too small. Okay, there we go. I think I got it on there now. Oh yeah. So one of the key things to this filter wrench is trying to hold this one in position and get your ratchet to hook onto it. But once you do get that, man, it grips it amazing and just turns it right loose. This is great. And you can see I let it get loose right there, and then it turned and slipped. So let me see if I can get it the rest of the way with our slip joint. Kind of make a teamwork effort out of it here. Maybe it needs to go in the next size, get a better grip on it. Oh yeah. while this wasn't really a comparison between tools, it was just really me showing you the tools that I bought to try to get this job accomplished. So for me, I think that I would do the same thing and get both of them again, because, you know, I actually used the DURATECH and was able to get the filter loose easier with it. But once it got loose, it's harder to reposition and, you know, continue to take loose. So the slip joint filter wrench then was able to reach under there and just get a hold of it and grip it and turn it, grip it, turn it, and so on until it came loose, or was able to get loose enough to turn it by hand. Now typically, filters should not be this tight, but this is the first filter change. And I'm thinking that, you know, where they paint these tractors with the filters on them and all that, then that was really causing a lot of problem getting that loose the first time. When I put it back on, I'm not going to put them nearly that tight, and I want to do just basically make the filter up to the surface and then turn it about 3/4 of a turn, and pretty much that's going to be hand tight, about as tight as you can get it by hand. If you don't feel comfortable with that, maybe put a filter wrench on it and only go a little bit. Don't try to torque them down. They're supposed to have that rubber gasket in there to seal up. They do not need tons of pressure to create that seal. So like I said, most manufacturers recommend that you turn that filter in until you feel it touch, and then you only turn it about 3/4 of a turn. I will say that these tools were a lifesaver. I've always used one of those little rubber strap wrenches, and it has done everything I've ever needed it to do until I got to this Coyote tractor. With those filters being up in those protected places, then that definitely made it where that strap wrench just could not get in there. And I do believe that either one of these wrenches would have taken that loose, because the slip joint was taking the big filter loose first, and it was starting to turn it. And then the little filter, I could see it starting to move, but I also felt that I might start crushing the filter, and I was trying to keep from doing that. So the DURATECH, in my opinion, actually does win this as far as getting your filter loose, because that thing would grip down on it. It got a hold of the big filter. It was much easier to turn, but it's just a little bit harder to reposition. So with that in mind, I think I might possibly ditch my strap wrenches, and I'm going to be using these probably from now on, because it just seems so much faster and so much easier than dealing with that rubber strap and trying to wrap it around and trying to get a good grip on it. But on the other hand, I've never damaged a filter with the strap wrench, whereas these definitely leave scars and do damage them somewhat. So take all that into consideration. If you felt you got something good out of this video today, I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. Follow along for more product review videos. And until next time, keep it outdoors, and we'll see you on the next one. Follow along for all the other Coyote projects we have going on around the property.